welcome back to What's Cooking at Inspiration Kitchen. I'm Chef Scott, and today I'm going to show you how to break down a chicken. And I'm going to show you a slightly different way of breaking down a chicken than you're probably used to. We're going to do 8 pieces. Typically, in the US, you see 8-cut chicken is, so you have your leg, your thigh, your 2 breasts, and your 2 wings. And I'm going to do what's typically a French cut, because for what we're doing, we're going to be braising the chicken, so we want bone in everything, because the bone gives it a lot of flavor, keeps it moist. So we're going to do a French cut. So the first thing you need is you need your knife set up, your cutting board with the towel underneath so it's stable. The most important thing for breaking down a chicken is a flexible fillet knife, and you're going to see why in a little bit. So step 1 is we're going to take the wing off down to the first joint, and you're going to want a fairly heavy knife to do that with. So this is going to be stock. Again, at the first joint. So then you are left with these 2 little nubs right here sitting off on the end. Now, second step. You're going to make an incision between the leg and the breast, just to separate like that. Okay, so you make that incision, and you can see that separation between the breast and the leg and thigh. So once you have that done, you're going to turn the chicken over, and you're going to keep cutting at the skin. Now, you're going to arrive right here. You can see the point right here where the thigh starts, and the back kind of juts up against the thigh there. There's a piece of meat in here. It's called the oyster. And there's a French proverb about the fool that forgets the oyster. And this is why we want, see how that knife flexes? To get into the bone there, into that little socket, to make sure that we get the oyster, which is right there. Okay, so we want to cut that out and go right down to the thigh bone. And you can feel the knife against the thigh bone. At that point, you want to pull it like that. You'll hear it click as the socket comes out. And then you just finish by going right down the side there. Take that extra bit of skin off. All right, so there's one leg and thigh. We're gonna do the same thing on the other side. Separate the leg and thigh and the breast at the skin. Turn it over. Follow the line. I can feel the oyster right there. So now I'm going to make sure that my knife, see how I have the tip of the knife right in that socket there. Getting the oyster right there. And then separate the ball joint out. There we go. So now we have our leg and thigh done. Okay, now here's the part where the French cut differs. You have the breast here with the wing joint, and then you have the back. So this part with the thigh, with the breast is called the boat. You can see how it kind of looks like a boat. So we want to separate the back from the boat. We're gonna like that, and then we're at the neck. You want a nice heavy knife for this. So there's the back, and that's going to go into the stock. Okay, so we have, this is called the boat. With the neck in there, we can take the neck out. Okay, so what do we do next? So now we want to look at the breast on its side, and we want to cut an imaginary line or visualize an imaginary line at the halfway point of the breast, like that. And make that cut there. So we've divided the breast in half. Okay? This is going to get filleted off the bone. See, we're just following along the line there. Taking that wing joint out there. There we go. And then just fillet your breast right off the bone. I'm trying to get it so you can see in there. See, now we have the wing joint left. And we can just rotate that out and cut there. So we have, this is called an airline breast. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So about halfway. The reason that this is such a good way to cut chicken to cook when you braise it is that, again, everything is going to be virtually the same size. So instead of having these huge breast pieces that have no bone in and could potentially dry out, you're going to have these nice smaller pieces of everything that will cook at the same time, and everything has the bone in. So there's the wing joint. So there you go. There's another supreme. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to cut this exactly in half. So we go right down to the breastbone, cut through the breastbone, trim a little bit of this excess skin off of there. So now we have one breast piece, this excess bone, just chop it right off of there. So one breast piece, and look at how those are like almost the exact same size, and they both have bone in them. Now, we can make these pretty for show, and one of the ways you do that is you see how this is, you can take the skin and you can scrape those tendons down with your knife so that it forms a little ball at the end of the breast there. For your leg and thigh, you just want to separate the leg and thigh. You cut right in the V. It's made between the leg and thigh, like that, and it'll go right down the middle there. Easy. So there's your leg and thigh piece. Same thing, there's the V. Cut straight down. Thigh. And now, of course, we have the beautiful bone here. We want to do the same thing here. So, make as clean a cut as possible. And then, same thing. We can scrape down the tendons so you have, when it cooks, is our 8-cut chicken. So we have 2 thighs, 2 legs, 2 airline breasts, and then the 2 breasts off what's called the boat. And so that's what's cooking at Inspiration Kitchen. I'm Chef Scott. See you next time.